Yo, welcome to the Power Play Podcast. We would like to demonstrate the value in everyday casual conversation. I'm your boy, Mighty Boy the GOAT. I got my brother with me as always, Drop Talk J-Lock. Man, we got a special guest in the building, man. Our boy, man, one of the hottest realtors in the game right now, man. He's doing this thing, man. Tampa area, Ruskin area, Day City, all those places he's around. Florida, just Florida. We're going to say Florida. You know what I'm saying? My boy, Agent J. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, fellas. Appreciate y'all for having me on.
Yes, sir, man. Yes, sir, man. It's been a long time. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. You know, we've been talking back and forth, trying to make this thing happen, man. It's been, you know what I mean, some sick days, some long nights, but we making it happen, and we here now, man.
We here with it. We here with it.
Definitely. And really, you know, we just really want to, you know, we love empowering our audience, and we love giving them, you know what I mean, knowledge on different things. And I know you bring a good perspective on, you know, just the realtor game, and then home ownership, and purchasing land and owning land, and just real estate all together. So this is sure to be an informative good one for sure. Absolutely, man.
100%.
So, just to speak a little bit about, you know what I mean, how did you get involved with the game?
Yeah, 100%. I first started off with pharmacy. Worked at a hospital for years as a pharmacy technician. The plan was to go back to school to get my PharmD, to be a pharmacist and not just the technician. And then my plans just changed over time. I already had friends that were into like investment routes and different things like that.
Gotcha.
I didn't trust it, you know, because it wasn't tangible investments like crypto coins and stocks. They're cool and all, but you're not tangible. So I said, what's an investment route that's tangible? And then that's when my mind went to real estate. And I was like, you know, well, I don't know much about real estate. What if I build a business selling it, learn the behind the scenes, then I'm comfortable to invest in it because now I know what I'm investing into.
Absolutely.
So that was the game plan. That's how I jumped into it. Eventually went part-time at the pharmacy job to have more time for real estate. And then after a couple of years, I took the full leap of faith, went full-time into real estate during COVID, actually, during 2020. So I've been in it since 2020, but 2 years prior to that was part-time as a realty, full-time since 2020. So it's definitely been a lot, but it's good because I was able to see the market. I was able to see it before, during, and after the COVID. So that was also good from my experience.
Yeah. Was that learning curve difficult? I mean, just transitioning from the hospital and coming over to real estate, or?
I was really motivated. I had a couple other things going on as well. And it was difficult because you are stepping into entrepreneurship. You know, most folks, you know, I was paid hourly, right, at the pharmacy job, and most folks will times how much hours you work with an hourly rate. That's how you know how much you're getting paid. Real estate, you could work 8 months and get zero, right? You only eat off what you kill or succeed with. You're only paid off results, only results. And so that part was a little bit of a curve, but I kind of knew what I was getting into a bit, had a little bit of a savings, not much. But I eventually had to take the leap of faith and make it happen.
Awesome.
So what kept you going? Because, you know, like you said, like real estate is goes off of what you can produce. Like it's not really like an hourly rate. So what made you decide to stick with this and say, man, you know what, I'm gonna just keep going and I'm gonna give my best? Because some people will be like, man, I don't know if I want to take that risk. I'm gonna just stick with the hourly rate. So
I understand.
What kept you going?
I understand those people that says, you know, forget this, forget this. I get it.
Yeah.
I think I'm a bit hard-headed, if I'm being honest. I feel like when I put my mind to something, you know, we're going to execute out here. We're going to make things happen. A lot of things did get tough, but I couldn't just back down. I understand how powerful real estate is. The fact that we step into brick and mortars, even right now, we're all in real estate. You're either going to own the roof over your head or you're going to rent it. But regardless, you need it. It's vital. It's shelter. It's housing. It's all these other things. So I said, no, this is too important for me to pull back. But things definitely got hard for sure.
Right. And in some of those harder moments, I mean, speak on those, like, you know what I mean, those moments where you had eggshell on your face, you know what I mean, and it was just like you were just out there, you know, in it, you know what I mean, kind of just on your own, doing your thing. I mean, obviously you probably have mentors and different people that kind of guided you and aided you along the way. But I mean, you obviously you had to get out and kind of experience the market and experience customers and experience, you know what I mean, you know, just the ins and out of it on your own. So how was that? Like, what are some of those times?
Man, it was tough. Just a lot of learning curves. I remember doing a lot of sticky notes around my home.
Mhm.
Although I was outside the house a lot, but just around my home, like just reminders, like never give up, or God's still
Mhm.
watching. Because I think biblically, I don't want to make this more Bible related, but it does say pretty much that an idle mind is the devil's workshop. So
Mhm.
when I was too idle, like I did feel like those dark thoughts, like maybe you messed up, you went part-time at your main source of income. What were you thinking for something so
Mhm.
risky? How this is a crash and burn situation, you're gonna feel it bad. Like it was
Mhm.
one of those. So I definitely had to not keep my mind idle with those self-defeating thoughts, and yeah, just execute. Also, what helped me was I was a sponge when it comes to learning the real estate world, contracts, the fine print. you know um I think with me knowing those deeper contracts, paperworks, and such, it gave me confidence to go out there, because you're explaining these contracts to home buyers. They're
Right.
looking at you as the professional. Hey, tell me what I'm signing here. And
Absolutely.
if you stutter, you don't know what you have them signing.
Mhm.
That it looks bad for everybody, right? So I do
Mhm.
think taking the time to understand your craft, not just the social media, the housing, and walking homes, but the behind the scenes, the contracts crafted by Florida lawyers. I
Right.
think taking the time to understand that is going to
Yeah.
increase your confidence as overall. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And it's crazy that you speak of like contracts and stuff because my next question was going to be what sets you aside from other realtors in the game because I done dealt with so many realtors and they really didn't explain the contracts and stuff like
Mhm.
that. They were only just show you the house. Oh, you can walk around, you can look around, but not give you the whole detail. Where this
Mm,
AC wasn't done like
mm,
last year, or this house
wow.
wasn't stayed in for a whole 2 years. So what sets you aside from them other realtors?
Yeah, that's crazy. I guess for me, I'm not looking at clients as a transaction or a check.
Mhm.
I'm not desperate. Even back when I first started, when I was a little bit desperate, I didn't let that bleed onto my clients. This is a huge transaction, and I'm
Mhm.
representing your best interest. What I'm going through personally at the house doesn't matter, right? So,
Yeah.
in regards to pressuring folks to make the wrong decision just to get a sale, that was never me.
Yeah.
Back then, and definitely not now. And so, yeah, just taking the time to really help and guide clients, being their guiding light. I don't stay in the realtor's lane in regards to my knowledge. I do branch off. I do know a lot about what's happening in the lender's world that I can
Yeah.
educate you on.
Yeah.
The inspector, the underwriter, the appraiser, like just really being able to guide clients through. Like I am your walking first time home buyers course, if that makes sense.
Right.
And I think that's really important. I think a lot of realtors stay in their lane. And don't get me wrong. I will have to connect you to the licensed lender
You're right.
Mhm.
in their world to do that. But me being able to set proper expectations up front. Hey, you're gonna expect this, things like that. Don't be shocked when this happened or when they ask for this. Being that guiding light, and obviously it helped that I've bought and sold real estate for myself personally, so I can walk you through as a realtor and as a personal buyer how I felt with going through XYZ.
Yeah,
So
that's
Yeah.
dope.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And in being that, what I mean, person kind of that had, because obviously, I mean, I own my home. You know what I mean, and going through the homeowner process, appreciate that, brother. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Did my thing.
yeah.
But it definitely, it's like, puzzle pieces when you're dealing, like you said, with underwriting and dealing with, what I mean, all the factors that go into it. But a
Yeah.
a good realtor is someone that can actually comfort you and make you feel as if you're, what you're doing is not as scary as it seems, right? Because going
Right.
into home buying it can be a pretty stiff, steep
It's a big
process.
process. It's a big
Definitely, you know what I
process.
Yes.
mean, and it can make a
Yes.
lot. So how do you connect with your customers, and also walk us through what your ideal customer should, how they should approach, uh, you know,
Mm,
the market and buying a home.
yeah. Um, your first question was how do I connect with clients? I'm
Yeah.
really just Jason. I'm really
Right.
just myself. I have 11 piercings. A lot of folks know me for the hats. I mean, even back
That's what's
then,
up.
I was like being genuine and authentic is just important. I think maybe my first month. I tried to like wear a blazer or something, and it just wasn't
It
me.
wasn't
It's
you,
just
right?
not me.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
like, yo, I got tie, and
yeah.
you know,
And the customers can see that. They can see. They can
yeah,
read
I
through it.
feel like
You know what I mean?
they could see through some of that, right?
Right,
It's like, you know, I'm gonna be myself, but I'm gonna know what I'm doing. I'm
right.
gonna guide you accurately. I'm actually gonna have the experience and the knowledge to do that. So I wasn't worried too much about, you know, the physical. Maybe I don't look like your average realtor, right? But my expertise and experience and clients that can back me over the last 8 years, they could tell you otherwise in
Okay.
regards to not just worrying about how, you know, do if I wear a suit or not. So that's how I connect, being authentic. And in regards to your other question, excuse me, it was about guiding. Was
Yeah,
it?
so I actually, you're kind of being that guide to a client that's coming up to you for the first time, not really
Mhm.
knowing the proper steps to take, kind of
For
jumping out
buying a
on a limb,
home,
because that's a
the
lot of what people
process.
do, right? They just kind of jump out on a limb and say, all right, you know what, I want to start this homeowner process. I'm tired of renting. I'm
Yeah,
tired of this. I'm tired of living with this person, that person.
yeah.
I want to own my own home, but I don't know where to start.
Where to
I want you
start?
to
Yeah,
walk the audience through where to start.
definitely. I do think you do have to come to that kind of like that point that you mentioned mentally. You have to eventually hit a point to say, I'm ready to at least explore it. Right.
Hmm.
You don't got to be 100% ready, but a lot of folks are still, you have a mental blockade. A lot of folks, based off the conversations I've had, have a mental blockade. They feel like I've rented for years. My parents rented. My grandparents rented. This is all there is. This is the normal. There's nothing else besides this. Let me shut up, stay in my lane and rent.
Hmm.
Mental blockades, right? We do have to get past that. And that's why a lot of my content is speaking on a lot of that and reacting and different things
Absolutely.
like that is to attack the psyche, because you first have to know, hey, this is possible for me, even if I'm the first in my lineage to do it.
Right.
Um, you know, it's the same thing like being the first in your lineage to go to college and graduate. It's the
Yeah,
same thing. Congratulations. That's huge. You
Right.
went up
yeah.
against opposition. So that's the first thing, the mental blockade. I would say the next thing is to connect with the right realtor, because they're going to be connected with everyone else in that process to help guide you. Hopefully, if you have the right realtor, they've partnered and aligned themselves with the right lender, the
Hmm.
right title company, different home inspectors they can connect you with, honest, good companies. Uh, Everything else should spiderweb off of the right realtor, in my opinion. And then that's still your contact throughout the entire transaction.
Gotcha.
And for me, I try to make it to every closing with every client, because we
Right.
started this process together. We're gonna end it off together. I'm gonna be right here. I'm gonna try my best to be at every
Yeah.
closing.
Gotcha.
So yeah, that's kind of what I would say. It's kind of vague, but to answer your question on the first steps and making that mental decision.
Gotcha.
I think it's a lot of, different avenues out there that people get different information. Like you said, I think me personally connecting with a realtor is best, but you have so many of these, already built communities that people walk in and see, these homes, and they go in and want to
Hmm.
talk about how to get a home, and they tell you, oh well, you need $20,000 to stay
Hmm.
here. You need a credit of 640. So what is these misunderstandings that people having about the whole process of buying a home? Can you speak on that?
100%. A lot of folks still feel like you need 20% down or $20,000 in a high amount. I and this is why I've been doing the content to kind of push the right information. And then
Hmm.
also, to be honest, I hold folks accountable as well, because
Hmm.
I feel like we put our time into learning what Kim Kardashian had for breakfast,
Hmm.
what new car Lil Wayne bought in
Yeah,
sky blue color. We put
yeah,
our times into researching all this. We know everything about that, but we still think in, modern times, that we need 20% down to buy real estate. You do not. So I do hold the adults accountable to some degree with
Right.
taking the time to pick up this fancy device we all have and do a little bit of
hmm,
research.
A little
But
research. Yeah.
yeah, it's okay. In regards to choosing the right realtor, like I said, they're going to guide you through all that. 20% down mandatory is a myth. Especially if you're a first-time home buyer, 3.5% is really common because of FHA. It's a loan product. There's different loan products. Each loan product requires a certain amount down. You probably heard of FHA, USDA, VA, conventional.
Hmm.
And so that there's definitely different down payments amounts required based off the loan amount. Taking it deeper, in a particular loan amount or a loan product, let's say FHA, you can still qualify for down payment assistance. right? So that 3.5% we just spoke on just dropped to zero, depending on qualifying for first-time home buyers program. Well, really, when you pull back the curtains, it's all down payment assistance, right? So down payment assistance. So it's not to say that you're never going to come out of pocket anything, because you still need to come out of pocket for the inspection. This is very important. You want to know what you're buying, and maybe a little bit of remaining closing costs, depending on if the seller can cover it. But you really can go from thinking you need 20% to really needing 2.1%, based off partnering with the right realtor and doing a little bit of research. But like I said, partnering with the right realtors is a bigger thing.
Definitely.
You spoke about other myths and misconceptions.
Yeah. What are some other misunderstandings that people have about, the whole process?
Yeah, we can speak on the crash.
Yeah.
A lot of folks thinking, maybe real estate isn't the best investment. We all heard about 2008. Well, if you want to take things deeper, what happened in 2008, it was a lot of bad loans that was given out around that time. It was the banks, right?
Yeah.
They called it ninja loans. No income, no job. All you needed was a pulse, and the bank would give you a loan with an adjustable rate. With an adjustable rate. And once that adjustable rate adjusted and the mortgage swung up because of the interest rate swing, a lot of folks could not afford that higher payment, thus a lot foreclosure. So it's not like real estate was a bad deal. Let's be honest. The home just sat there. The home didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
It was the loans that were taken out to buy the home. So it's just things to think about there. A lot of folks are going to have some, hear some self-defeating thoughts from people that they know. You heard about the crash. Let's continue to rent for the rest of our life. What are we talking about? Like, that's not a reason to just write off home ownership, especially when you look at that the crash itself wasn't even really real estate's fault per se. The actual block construction home didn't do anything wrong. So that I would say that there. Also, we spoke about the inspections, right? A lot of folks, it is optional. It is optional technically. And so, but I'm telling all my clients, listen, pay the money. Pay the money.
But dive into that, Jason. Why? Like, why are you telling them? Because there are a lot of people that just and I want to get into this, because like there are a lot of people that just they want a home so bad. You know what I mean? And they overlook a lot of different things, a lot of different elements when it comes to a, pre-owned home and or even a new build. I mean, you just want to inspect and make sure everything is A1. But why is that so important?
100%. So the easy answer is this: whether it's pre-owned, resale, new construction, homes are built by humans. Human error is still possible. That's it. That's pretty much it. Could be a brand new construction. It could be something that was built back in the day, built by humans. Human error is still possible. And then also, if it's a pre-owned home, maybe it had 3-4 different owners by the time you wanted to buy it. We don't know how they upkept the property. So it still boils back down to humans and free will and upkeep and building construction values and things like that. So that's why I would always say to do the inspection, see what's going on, pull back the curtains. You can walk through the property. Things can look beautiful. We don't know what's happening behind the walls. We don't know, the roof, the AC, the electrical, the plumbing. These are big ticket items that if you close on the home and it's bad, you're going to have to cough up thousands and thousands of dollars. These are big ticket items. I'm not talking about stressing if it has a hole in the drywall because they removed the painting. That's minor.
Right.
We do inspections for the big stuff. That's big ticket items, and I think it's massive. Yeah.
What would you say is the most expensive mistake that you've seen a person encounter in dealing with, like, their ego? You know what I mean? Coming into a situation where it's like, I mean, I want this house so bad. Or on the other flip side of the coin, they may come in like, I've done this before. I know how to, this is my third house. I'm going to, so like, what's the most expensive mistake that you've seen a person make in regards to, making a deal?
For me, none, because of how I guide my clients. Maybe I've heard crazy stories from other realtors and, scary transactions with them. But for me, I'm always going to say, hey, we have to spend the money up front to know what's going on.
Gotcha.
For example, I remember one of my clients did a home inspection. The home inspector had an eye for termites, and he was able to see termite wings by the windowsill. I could have probably told the client, hey, listen, yeah, I mean, maybe it's just regular fly wings. Maybe he was wrong, this and the third. I said, let's look into that, because my trusted home inspector that you chose, I've been working with him for a while. He has an eye for other things. Even if he's not licensed for it, because it's a different license to be, a termite inspector and exterminator, you can still have an eye for it. And he was like, hey, yo, Jay, you may want to check into that. And I was able to push that to the clients after I examined it. They were able to get a specific termite inspection done, and the property was infested with, I believe it was subterranean, but it wasn't like a huge infestation. But regardless, there was enough live ones. So yeah, we have to exterminate this.
Yeah.
I was able to go back to the seller. This is maybe 5 years, 6 years ago. I was able to go back to the seller, renegotiate the deal. They was able to come out and fumigate the property, where they put a big black tent over it.
Yeah.
And they push fumes throughout the whole home, kill everything in sight. That way to air out. But that was a $5,000 ticket.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That a $500 home inspection was able to identify, and then they had to pay $600, I think, for the termite inspector to come out. Okay, so they're all in $1,100. They save $5,000 on the back end. That's still a return on investment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there was someone else when it comes to a different transaction. The beams. It was a crawl space, home in a crawl space, and the beams underneath the home were weakened. But the right home inspector was able to go in there, crawl into the crawl space, and take photos and see what was going on, and showed us. Then the clients had to pay for a foundational inspector to come out and take a deeper look. That's still money out of your pocket.
Right.
Yeah.
When I'm naming all these other inspections, this is money out of your pocket for a home you do not own yet.
Right.
But you're under contract. This is a potential investment. You got to see what's going on.
Yeah.
Okay, so the foundational inspection came out. It's like these beams are terrible, right? And they was able to get a quote, $25,000 to redo the beams underneath the house.
Yep.
Yeah.
We tried to go back, renegotiate that with the seller. The seller wasn't having it. I said, okay, we're going to pull out of this deal. You stay right there, Mr. Seller, and you figure that out.
Absolutely.
Because my client's not buying this home.
Yeah.
Right. So in that case, that 500, maybe 550 inspection, plus the foundational inspector, saved them $25,000, which was the official quote we got. It's a home inspection is too important.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
You spoke on, the market, people was talking about the market crashing. So can you walk the fans through when is the best time to buy a home? Because it's this big old myth going around like back then when I was younger too. Oh, I'm not gonna buy a home yet. I'm gonna wait till the market crash, because then I'm gonna get this house for $100,000 that's worth $5,000.
That's a good point, bro.
So
That's a
can
good
you
point.
walk us through when is a great time to buy a home?
100%, man.
And this is the conversation that I recently had with someone. So this is insight right here. Seriously, this is somebody definitely said that to me. So for sure.
Okay, definitely. So I would say the best time to buy a home is when you're ready, when you mentally made the decision, and when you're financially able to. So speaking to a lender, getting pre-approved, getting in front of the numbers. The problem is right now in 2025, 2026, a lot of us are definitely already paying a mortgage and rent. Things have gone up too expensively.
Right.
And maybe back in the day, you could have, said that there's really a good gap between what you pay in rent and mortgage. But these days, easily $2,000 plus, right? Especially if folks are in a 3-2 and things like that. Obviously, location matters too and things like that. But overall, a lot of us are already paying the mortgage for our landlords. So that's one. Two, for the folks that are saying, like what you said, Jay, when the market crash, I'm gonna buy a home that's worth that $500,000. I'm gonna buy it for $50K. We have to, man. And I had this conversation too, Lamar.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna say something.
Go ahead,
and this is proof that folks aren't really thinking it through on what they're saying, and then they hope the market crash and all this stuff. So let's actually walk it out. If the market crashes, and homes that are priced at $500,000 drops to $50K or $83K or $102K. A lot of folks still think I can go get a loan from a bank at 3.5% down payment and buy that home for $3,000. You're not.
Mm-mm.
There are cash investors with deep pockets. They've been waiting for the market to crash since 2008.
Yeah.
They've been waiting with
Yeah.
deep pockets, you guys. Deep pockets. 103,000 is nothing to them.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
gonna go buy that home. Cash is king. You won't get a chance. Plus, the banks may not even be giving out loans because they're gonna see, this volatile market. It's risky. We just had a crash. 500K properties are at 103. So the banks will probably step back or be maybe only giving out loans to folks 700 credit score or higher. Like they're gonna tighten their restriction on who they
Right.
give it out for.
Right.
So let's actually walk this out. You're not going to go get a loan at a low down payment and buy the home. There's a cash investor that's going to eat up all of those homes on that block. You're going to still be renting, right? So that's something else to think about as well. A lot of us don't have 103K just sitting in our pockets just to go. And even if we do, we don't have it like that to blow it on one property. Not like these cash investors that want to blow on 50. We need to stop talking like that because the reality is the average American will be badly hurt if the market crashed, and home ownership that they think will be in reach will be further away than they ever think. Let's just stop hoping for that. Everything's fine. Let's go get a loan from the bank. Yes, we're financing potentially, most likely, hundreds of thousands of dollars. Let's get it at a good rate. Let's make sure it makes sense. Let's amortize it over 30 years. Let's make sure the monthly makes sense. Let's stop making our landlords wealthy and pay our own mortgage and build wealth over time as we pay down the mortgage and the values go up over time, which real estate has been proven to do that. That's my response to that.
Absolutely. What's your take on, and this is another out that I hear a lot too, that I want to definitely touch on, just to give the listeners a different opinion on it. Rent to own. There's a lot of people that look to, what I mean, I'm renting, but I'm renting this to own it. I'm not going to go through the homeowner process myself or get outside of what I'm comfortable with in this home because I'm going to rent to own it. I'm going to work something out with the landlord, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. What's your opinion on that?
I mean, if you have a landlord that is really going to work with you in that way, you guys are going to involve lawyers and contracts, and you definitely don't want to just trust your landlord because he's cool and he high fives you every once in a while. This is a big deal. Involve lawyers, really look over things when it comes to the rent to own deal. Me personally, though, I think it's a waste of time in most cases. Rent to own, lease with the option of purchase. There's all these different ones. I would say if you're going to rent, then rent, right? If you're going to own, then commit to owning and weeding out the middleman. Especially if you're likely still going to be required to have a certain credit score, because a lot of the rent to own programs and companies, they still have their requirements as well. They still want you to have a certain credit score, make a certain income. The same thing the lenders want. If we could avoid the middleman altogether and go get a straight loan from the lender, the mortgage lender, the banks, and go straight to home ownership, then go for it. I feel like a lot of folks kind of use that as an scapegoat as well. Rent to own and things like that. It's because they haven't fully made the mental switch we were talking about. That mental block is still, they haven't fully committed or halfway committed. We're going to get out of renting. Let's get out of renting. I want my name on the deed to this property, not just the lease to it.
Gotcha. I mean, so when let's put it in the perspective of you. So are you a homeowner yourself?
Yes. I'm a homeowner. I've rented and bought.
Gotcha.
Yep.
So in buying a home for yourself, what is a red flag for you that you would that you would ignore for yourself, but never let the client ignore in the process of buying a home?
Interesting. In the process, no, I believe I'm across the board with it. Pretty similar across the board. I would say this, it's more on a cosmetic level. I'm a bit boring. So if clients are saying, well, the appliances aren't stainless steel, they're white. I know in my head, for me, that's minor, right? Because I'm more thinking the bigger things.
Gotcha.
How's the stuff behind the walls? How's the foundation? And of course, I tell the clients that, but some clients are pretty heavy on the cosmetic stuff and the surface level stuff. That's fine. For me, I'm like, it's fine. I'll use it till it's gone and then rebuy it or something. Even with clients that hate carpet. I just went through this. She didn't like the carpet. She planned on changing it out. as soon as she closed. I said, well, the carpet's brand new. I suggest use and abuse the carpet.
Mm-hmm.
And then when it's time after some years, then rip it out, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that. Maybe I'm a bit too frugal, but that's my thoughts in regards to like surface level and cosmetic stuff. But in regards to the process of buying, the way I would buy and how I would guide myself is what I would do to clients, things to be careful for, look out for, 100%. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I mean,
Yeah.
can you guys speak on how you guys process when? Was there anything that you felt like your realtors maybe didn't highlight, or that stuff that you knew could have been highlighted up front, but you figured it out behind the scenes or after closing?
For me, I would say the last realtor, no, we kind of connected, and she was there every step of the way. But the previous ones definitely didn't know they information. They didn't know they didn't do their homework on some of the homes. So we going in, we looking at the homes, and they couldn't tell me, when was the last inspection, or when was the AC unit fixed, if it was an older home, or if it had any flooding in the home, any roof caving, any of
Yeah.
those type of things. So you want to know these things before buying these homes,
Mm-hmm.
especially I was brand new to the market, so I
Mm,
didn't know if I wanted a
yeah.
new construction or a pre-owned home. So I was
Yeah.
just dibbling dabbling, just trying to see what's out there. So I would say
Yeah.
some of the realtors I worked with just didn't do enough homework. And
Yeah.
then the last realtor we had, they were just like, why spend all that money on on a home that somebody already stayed in, when you can, take another look at, construction builds, some new models, some homes you could probably build from the ground up. So that put another thing out there for us to look at. So it was like
Yeah.
we wasn't getting all those options until that person came around. So
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
And then for me, it was definitely very helpful to have and I'm gonna say her name Kay
yeah, okay.
from the 239 area and all over,
Okay.
Naples, Fort Myers, all of that. And she really did dive in and kind of make sure that we were okay throughout the whole process. Me and my wife were kind of very anxious and very
Mm,
very back against the wall, very tense, very
mm,
we need to make this happen for us and our
hmm.
kids. And so
Yeah.
she definitely came in, made that process very comfortable for us. I mean, obviously, as the man, right, you kind of just sit back and let the wife kind of do the shopping, and you just kind of, you know what I mean, just kind of, do your thing or whatever. But I was included in everything. She made sure that she brought me in. Hey, look, what you think? You know what I mean? It wasn't
Yeah.
just a situation where I felt like, you know what, I'm gonna just stand outside and let them do their thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So definitely kept me engaged. And just all the little things encouraged us to do the research. You know what I mean? Not only giving us her perspective and answer, but also encouraging us to do the research on our own so that we can kind of have something to have legs to
Mhm.
stand on when we are discussing something. Because it's one thing to go
Yeah.
about something and think you have knowledge on it, but to actually do the research and know what you're talking about
Yeah.
and know, you know what I mean, rates and different things, it's important. So
Yeah.
definitely was
100%.
a stressful process,
Yeah.
definitely, but
Yeah.
worth it for sure, for sure.
And
100%.
it definitely it can be stressful. I tell people all the time too, who ask me questions, like, just you got to be strong minded, and you gotta be able to stick to the plan. Don't deviate from the plan. Far as people don't understand, when you got that contract, you can't be really out there splurging and spending that
Yeah.
money and doing all that. They
Yeah.
watch them finances. So, and I don't
Yeah.
think people understand that, because I used to
Yeah.
have part of my crew, Lamar, and a few other my friends. At
Yeah,
the
Yeah.
time, I was in at the time buying a home. Everybody wanted to go out, and I'm like, nah, I can't do that.
Oh
yeah,
They like,
man.
what you
I
mean? I
remember that.
can't do that. I can't spend that. I
Yeah,
can't do that.
yeah, yeah.
I
So
respect
I don't
that.
think people just need to understand, you got to stick to the plan. You can't deviate.
100%.
Definitely.
Especially.
And Jay was definitely vital in me and my wife pulling the plug on what we had going on as well, because it's
Yeah,
like seeing them
Mhm.
go through their process, him and his wife, and then
yeah,
us being able to kind of, you know what I mean, see what that is and be like, you know what? we could do that. You know what I mean? We can make
Yo,
it
come
happen. We can
on,
say we
man.
could do it. So
Yeah,
it was just
definitely.
it was definitely a group situation, and it really went well, man. We were really
So
excited
are you
about that.
saying
Definitely.
that? So you weren't one of the friends around Jay wanting him to crash out, spend
Mm.
money, finance, go crazy?
Nah,
Be
I,
honest, Ramar. Be honest.
I was one of them. Nah, I was one of them friends. Listen, I was one of those friends that was like, listen, I respect what you're doing. Listen, I got you.
yeah,
You come with me.
yeah,
Like we going, you know what I mean? Wherever we going out to eat, I
yeah,
got you. Don't worry about it. You know what I mean? Save up, keep your money. We gonna do this thing. You know what I mean? And actually, when I dove into bro mindset, and it's kind of like how we approach the podcast. Like we're
Yeah, man.
just laser focused, right? So you weren't
yeah,
Yeah.
breaking him anyway. So even if I was
yeah,
Yeah.
the type of person that was gonna pressure him, I wasn't gonna get through. Cause
yeah,
you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
yeah,
Dog was laser focused,
Yeah.
so it is what it
yeah.
is, and
And
That's real.
so
yeah,
that
and
was
that's the
that was
thing.
key.
Once he got to see the same process I was going through,
Yeah.
and he telling him the same thing, I'm like, hey, I just went through it, so I definitely understand. So
Yeah,
if he say he
But
can't do it, we can't do it.
But
yeah,
you know, this is also something powerful, like what we're talking about right here when it comes to your friend groups, right?
right.
And
Yeah,
how owning real estate can actually trickle down and trickle around the
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
friends. I mean, it's the same thing when it comes to children. When children grow
yeah,
up in homes and they know, hey, my parents own this,
Yeah,
yeah,
it puts in their mind at a young age how possible it is compared to the folks that parents are rented, their great
hmm,
grandparents rented. So it affects your friends around you, like you guys. It
yeah,
affects your kids and their mindset and their viewpoint of home ownership, and how possible it is when kids can grow up and say, for as long as I can remember, my parents owned that place. They own
yeah,
their home, and
yeah,
I remember when we sold that and bought another, and think they're not growing up with the same mental blocks we spoke about in the beginning of the podcast.
yeah,
So it's powerful. Like it goes deep. It
yeah,
yeah.
goes deep, and yeah. So
absolutely. Have you yourself ever had to deal with? And I spoke on me and my wife kind of being, you know what I mean,
yeah,
involved with the homeowner process, and me kind of standing back, her kind of doing her thing, but then I'm
yeah,
being kind of on the back end engaged or whatever. Have you ever had to
yeah.
deal with, you know what I mean, the married couple that kind of has the discrepancies and the emotional negotiation? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And did you have to facilitate that between the two partners, or like how did that go?
Definitely. So yeah, I've been through a lot, when it comes to the newlywed, when it comes to the divorcee clients, when it comes to
Mm-hmm.
the single bachelor, like all of these stuff, right? So I definitely understand what you're saying when it comes to even in that dynamic where the husband kind of sits back chilling. He's still very much attentive, but the
Mm-hmm.
wife's doing more of the shopping because she has more
Yeah,
than need.
Mm-hmm.
Bigger kitchen. She wants more
yeah,
closet space, things like
Mm-hmm.
that. In regards to the emotions, I have had to help manage emotions, not just with my clients, but even on the other side of the transaction, the seller
Mm-hmm. Wow.
and their realtor, because some realtors flare up. We're
hmm,
supposed to be that hard rock with our clients, defending them and backing them, and not as emotional. But depending on how negotiations can go, some realtors flare up and things like that. So I've had to manage multiple adult emotions, and I feel like a good realtor is going to be kind of like a therapist in a way, financial advisor. Obviously, they're a realtor, counselor in some ways. So
hmm,
I think it's important. I've been through it where clients are thinking about breaking up, but while we're in the transaction, once that broke up, or if it was going to, that's obviously going to trickle down and affect the real estate. Well, I'm not buying this house with you. Well, I'm not buying this house with you. You see how this thing
hmm,
could all trickle out.
Gotcha.
So I would say that it's you're dealing with the public, you're dealing with humans first, and emotions and life is happening first, and then the real estate comes afterwards. So yes, I was able to manage. I've been through a few things,
All
a
right,
few
man,
things
for sure, definitely.
for sure.
All right, we talked about, people buying a home. Let's talk about people selling it. What are some of the things that would, make the home market, well, will make the home value go up? What are some of the things that make a home value go up for a seller?
So the two biggest things would be the kitchen and the restrooms and the
Okay.
bathrooms, right? Depending on if a kitchen is outdated, most likely you pouring money into spicing up that kitchen will be important, because when buyers walk into homes, that kitchen is a statement piece that's important. And the restrooms as well, right? We clean ourselves there. We do our personal, intimate business there.
Mhm.
Really the kitchen and the restrooms. A lot of folks may think solar panels will increase value. not as much as you think, right? Or really at all. It may actually,
Decreasing.
drop the value a bit if you look at how that affects the selling process when you have solar panels that are not paid off, and
Mm-hmm.
you still owe 40,000, and you want the new buyer to be okay with buying the home, and then panels that they have to make payments on because you financed it and didn't pay it off, and now I have to. No,
Mm-hmm.
so I've seen all that as well. But yeah, so those are the main things that add value. I usually want to keep like painting and stuff on the walls pretty neutral. Because depending on the buyer, maybe they don't want to walk into a home and every room has a different color,
Yeah.
hot rod flames here,
Yeah.
polka dots here,
Mm-hmm.
all blue here. It's probably a beautiful home, but the paint throws everything off, and so
Yeah.
usually you want to keep things neutral and give buyers a chance to envision themselves and how they would do things, when it comes to
Absolutely.
selling.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What about what are your thoughts on a pool? Is a pool an asset or a liability when it comes to?
So I think it depends on for the most part, location, but overall, especially here in Florida, a pool it is going to add value. We do have to keep in mind though, it may not be a dollar for dollar return. So, and let's just be honest there, but then also, um, we have to keep in mind that kind of like solar panels, you have to upkeep them, right? If certain panels go wrong on the solar panels, who's going to upkeep this? How much is this going to cost? Same thing with pool pumps, pool cleaners. Pool is not like a maintenance free luxury. You do have to keep that pool up.
Mm-hmm.
So that's also something to keep in mind. But overall, I mean, if you have two properties, both 3-bed, 2-bath, 1,500 square feet, 2-car garage in the same area, one has a pool, one doesn't. Yes, the one with the pool will likely be valued more at a higher price, especially in Florida. So it does add value. Yeah.
Gotcha.
What about a fenced in property?
Fenced in, I mean, it would be nice. I mean, I think it will add a bit of value because buyers for that property don't have to worry about, spending the money to fence it in. It's another bit of luxury already taken care of for you. Um, so yeah, I mean, a lot of buyers will appreciate it, but keep in mind you may not get a huge return. Meaning that same example, 2-car garage, one is priced at 300. The one with the privacy fence is priced at 380. No, that fence is not worth an $80,000 difference. I'm gonna buy the one without the fence, and I'll put one in myself if I really care. So that's you got to
Absolutely.
keep those things in mind. Yeah,
So so financially, and I'm gonna throw a couple scenarios out there to you, and you let me know how you would walk this client through. I'm coming to you. I have a large savings that I've saved
What's
over.
a large saving? Like a dollar amount.
I mean, I'm trying to think of I'm trying to not a specific person, but just a person coming to you thinking they have a large savings. Let's say
20,000.
I want to say I got 10. Let's say I got 10 grand.
Okay.
But I financially through my workplace, through my job, I don't necessarily make a lot, but I have a savings, but I don't make a lot. My credit is subpar, and I mean, it could be better. Let's say credit is 580.
Okay.
How when I come to you and say, hey, I'm looking to start the process of buying a home, how do you walk this person
navigate that?
Definitely. So I would first say, after I ask some questions on where they're living right now, how much are you paying in rent? Let's kind of see where we're at right now. We know where we want to be, which is home ownership, and then we can fit in that gap in the middle, see if everything makes sense. So I am going to have them speak to my lender. We got to get in front of the numbers, right? You do have a healthy savings. That's great. Credit is a 580. Most lenders need a 580 or above to qualify you for the loan. So now the next question is, what loan? What loan amount? How much can you qualify for? Let's get in front of the numbers. I compare it to grocery shopping, right? You wouldn't go in the grocery market without knowing how much is in your wallet to spend. We walk into Publix and Walmart knowing what we got in our wallet. We have an idea of how much we want to spend. It's the same thing with the housing market. You don't want to just start home shopping not knowing what you're pre-approved for, how much you could potentially need to spend, or what you're qualified for. And so after we speak with the lender, we do those steps. They're going to ask for a lot of documentation, pull credit, looking at income, debt to income ratios. The lenders have a whole job when they roll up their sleeves and get to work. Let's fast forward. Let's say you're pre-approved. Congratulations. The lenders come back and say you're pre-approved for up to 400,000, 500,000, doesn't matter. Because I tell my clients, even if you're qualified for a higher amount, 500,000 doesn't matter. If we know the right home is 250, let's stay in that budget, right? So that's why getting in front of the qualifications is important. Because Lamar, you mentioned that this person doesn't make much. I think it's what you said.
Yes.
So the lenders are going to approve you for the max, but we still have to see what that translates to on a monthly basis. And you don't want to be house poor, is what they consider it,
Right.
where you buy too much home. Technically, you qualified in regards to the lender, but in the real world, it's killing you. That mortgage is killing you, right? So we do have to make good financial decisions. So that's where it comes to jumping in front of the numbers and such. And then, of course, I'm going to try to keep as much of that 10,000 in my clients' pockets. If it still makes sense for us to move forward and at a certain budget, then I'm going to try to keep that, as much as we can in your pocket. Do we qualify for down payment assistance? First-time homebuyers program. At a 580, probably not. Most of them need a 640 or above to have access to the down payment assistance funds. That's where you hear that sweet spot 640 number. But really, the lenders can go at a 580 or above. And then, of course, closing costs, me negotiating for the sellers to cover your closing costs, just extra things to make sure we keep as much of that 10K in your pocket. So Lamar, that's how I would guide that particular person. We got to do our homework, see what makes sense, go through the process.
Gotcha. Okay. What about, so CNA,
Okay.
good credit. You know what I mean? Credit is good. Lack of down payment. Don't have any savings, paycheck to paycheck. I do have a spouse, but my spouse, I mean, he makes money.
Self-employed.
We'll say it like that. He's self-employed, but he makes a lot of money.
Hold on. What do you mean by that? Self-employed. Talk to me.
You know what I mean? He may or may not be in pharmaceuticals. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. So we are talking some illegal activity, right?
Yeah. You know what I mean? But he's potentially the one that has the monies that I need in order to continue with the process.
660.
The credit is 660. I'm working a full-time job. I got pay stubs. I got everything I need. I don't have any liquid. Okay. He's the one that has it, but he is a pharmaceutical tech for Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King Boulevard. So
illegal activity. I want to make sure I understand it. Okay.
Yes. How do you help this couple get a home?
Definitely. So I think you said that the Jay is snapping. I think you said that the wife has great credit.
Great credit.
She lacks the down payment. So I would say how lenders look at things, they wouldn't be able to use her husband to help her qualify for the home based off the illegal activity. And this is why they also don't allow large deposits to come out of nowhere into your bank account, your bank statements when they look at it, because they don't know if it's blood money or drug money, illegal money that you're trying to wash clean with an official real estate transaction. So that's why lenders are a bit finicky there. If you have mattress money, you're trying to put that into your bank account to buy the home, lenders aren't going for it. So it's something to keep in mind there. If her spouse, the illegal activity doer, is the one with the down payment, either way, we can't go through him. Now, you did mention that the wife has great credit, so that's good. Because of the credit, we can qualify most likely for first-time homebuyer programs, down payment assistance. We can still get that. And that's why I tell folks, it's really hard to jump into the real estate world with no money and low credit. You're going to have to pick one. Because a lot of folks hate credit because they think it's the system and we're born in the system and it doesn't matter and we're being controlled. So they'll let that plummet and don't care anything about it. But then life will still be tough in certain things, and maybe the money's low. That's tough. Realtors are not magicians. We are not extreme miracle workers. We are miracle workers, but not extreme miracle workers. And so I tell clients, care about your credit. If it's a game, you play the game to win, right? There's a lot of credit habits that can keep you at a healthy amount. And then when time comes and you need to go to the bank and ask them for a loan to buy a home or a car or whatever, they're going to want you to loan to you. They're dying to loan to you, right? Because of the credit. So yes, it's fine if she doesn't have a huge savings. She's taken the time to do the credit habit. She has great credit. We cannot use her spouse, but we can still get the down payment elsewhere. And also you can get a down payment from your family members and things of the sort as well. So for my clients that do have the mattress money, well, if you have to borrow a loan or the down payment from a family member, and then you pay them back through your mattress money. Okay, we there's still ways to go about it
Right.
because what you
Yeah.
guys do as family,
Yeah.
that's you guys' business. But the
Yeah.
the lenders are going to look at the family members that you're borrowing the down payment from. Look at their bank statements because they want things to be seasoned, is what they call it. It has to be in their bank account already for a certain amount of months. They want official things. They want things traceable. They don't want you washing illegal money. So that's
Yeah.
just things to keep in mind there. That's how I would advise, honestly, that couple that you mentioned to me, Lamar. I have to be honest with them and guide them,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
What is a day-to-day life of a realtor? What do your normal day look like?
Definitely. So I can't speak for all realtors because we're all independent contractors. Every realtor is different on how they built their brand or or run their business. But yeah, for me, it really just depends on my schedule. I have things scheduled honestly months out in advance. Sometimes I get a call from a client. It's happened in the past as well from out of state buyers, right? We seen your ads online. We like what you're doing. We want you to represent us. Get them pre-approved. They're coming down off of a plane from Massachusetts. They're only going to be here for 2 days. I plan those things months in advance. We're going to be stepping off the plane at this time. So I'm always moving and going. I am doing consultations as well, kind of walking clients through. Of course, after hours, I make time for social media and content creation. So that's where I would make the time. When the sun goes down, the chaos decreases in my life. So after
Gotcha.
hours is when I could take off the realtor hat a little bit and put on the
Yeah.
content agent JasonJ hat. You probably see my reaction videos online where I'm popping up on the screen and I'm talking my talk. I'm talking my talk, fellas. I'm talking my talk. I'm talking my
Absolutely.
talk because I've seen too much over the years. I've been too quiet. Right.
Yeah.
And a lot of folks, oh, Jason, I wish I met you sooner. I wish I learned this sooner. And well,
Yeah.
now I'm trying to reach them before they come to me ready for home ownership, because
Yeah.
hopefully you see me reacting to a video 3 months ago that
Yeah.
helped you avoid a certain decision that was going to negatively impact you in the real estate world. So
Absolutely.
now I'm being too quiet hurts everybody. I'm not being quiet anymore. So that's what, I've been doing that as well behind the scenes after hours. So yeah, I mean, it's pop up. I try to make every inspection. I try to meet clients at every inspection. I try to appear at every closing. I'm only one man, so I can only do but so much. But I try. I'm kind of everywhere.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So if you were forced to start your career over today, $0, no contacts, what is the very first unconventional thing you would do to get a listing?
Oh man, to get a listing. And I'll be honest, a lot of realtors do categorize themselves as listing agents and buyer's agents, right? Um, I don't. I am a real estate agent, and so when it comes to buyers, sellers, I can go either way with it. So that would be the first thing. I wouldn't look at listings only. I would be making social media and creative educational content to help anyone. If it's a listing from a seller, cool. If it's a buyer, great. I'm a real estate agent. And so that's what I would be doing there. I would have to meet the folks where they're at. Most people are online these days. And I would hit it with a vengeance. I think I started off maybe a little bit more shy when I first started learning the content game and growing in my brand. And obviously you get more comfortable with more transactions you do and you're educated on everything. But yeah, I would hit social media and hit it hard. Property tours, I still post that a lot. Um, and it's nice. It's in a lot of homes I walk through and things like that. It's not my passion per se. Like a lot of folks, when you walk through a home, you know what a kitchen looks like, right? You know what this and that stuff. Like stuff like that is. I mean, it's cool. It's awesome. We could talk it through. I think for me as a realtor, when it comes to guiding, it's the educational piece. When I'm having that hat of a teacher, the heart of a teacher, guiding through writing the contracts, negotiating the deals, those kind of gets me going a little bit. Seeing my clients' faces, letting them know that you're fully under contract, working that contract to closing, sitting at the closing table, like where we're actually here, you guys, the title agents walking in with the closing documents, and us knowing what we've been through to get here. Because a
Mm-hmm.
lot of folks online, they see the end result. Folks are holding the keys, we're happy. They didn't see 13 months prior when I was initially connected to that client and what we had to do over the last 13 months to get here on this one day that you see this post. So it's definitely a process, it's definitely a journey. And I think that's what kind of gets me going, you know?
Awesome. Awesome, man.
What's one rule you could tell a seller or a buyer that most realtors won't even tell a seller or buyer?
Seller or buyer that
Yeah,
most won't.
it could be a golden rule. It could be something that, realtors be like, I will never tell my client this, but I know
Really?
it. Yeah,
Hey,
like
hey, I can't speak to those realtors. I can't. If realtors, I would never tell my seller or my buyer this because they're looking out for the transaction and not their client.
yeah,
They're looking for a closing and not a happy customer. I can't even put myself in that mindset. I educate all my sellers and clients the same way, fellas. I'm
Awesome.
sorry.
yeah.
Like
Awesome.
I can't. Yeah, that's insane. Wow. I would never tell my client this because God forbid they make an informed decision and not close. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But every
There's a
realtor
lot
is
of them
different.
out there.
yeah,
I definitely believe it. If you look at the statistics, most realtors fail out of the business. I believe it's like over 75, 76% within their first 2 years.
Mm.
And then within their first 5 years, about 88%. Like it's high, it's a high failure rate.
mm,
So it's something to keep in mind. Everyone knows someone in their family, step cousin's brother that has a license. That's fine. How much of an executor are they? Or they do it part
yeah,
time? Do they just want to sell one home a year and they're fine with that? Are they
yeah.
full time like Agent Jason J? These are different caliber of realtors that exist here,
Mhm.
and I think it's important for folks to know that as well. Just because they're a realtor doesn't mean we're all the same and we're all no.
Let me ask you that. And I'm glad you brought that up. And I'm not trying to get into your pockets or anything, but explaining to the viewers how beneficial financially it is to be a realtor. Because you just spoke on you being full time, but you got some realtors that want to be. All right, I'm gonna just sell one house a year or two houses a year. How can they survive like that? Like,
Yeah,
especially if they not doing it full time.
yeah. I want to start off by saying that if you are a realtor that is part time, it's no bad blood, right?
Yeah.
A lot of we're all independent contractors, so we're just in different mindsets and stages in life, and we have different goals. A lot of the realtors I met when I first started were married. Their spouse was the breadwinner. They really didn't even need to do the realtor thing, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
If I sell a home or not, I'm married. My spouse is fine. It didn't make or break them.
Yeah.
I wasn't in that position, right? And so I had a fire in me, a drive in me to really know what I'm doing, read the fine print, understand what's going on, build the brand, build the business, execute. So every realtor is just different in that regard. Jay, what was the second part to your question? I'm sorry.
So how do people survive off of
Survive.
yeah, like selling that one home a year compared to somebody that's full time?
I don't think that they're surviving. I mean, I could tell you about me. Like when I was in pharmacy part time for years before I jumped into real estate full time. I had to learn the behind the scenes and build myself and my business. For the realtors that are happy with one home a year, maybe it's just vacation money and they're fine and their spouse is fine and they really don't need it. So I can't speak to those realtors, but in regards to the ones that are not in those positions, they are actually trying to build a successful real estate business for the long term. Yeah, they're really not surviving, and most likely they have another job with more consistent income because real estate is not consistent. My first transaction, my first closing was 8 months into my first year. 8 months, 8 months. It
Wow.
wasn't two, and so for that whole time, I'm building, I'm learning, and I was finally able to get my first. And my story, at least for that first year, is very common. Very rarely do you hear realtors um, first year, 50 homes, sold 30 homes, make 100K a year, all that stuff, right? That's statistically, that's not the reality for most. And shows like Selling Tampa and Selling Sunset gives an HGTV gives a lot of folks improper impression. They think it's easy money. They get their license, come in, and see the reality. So yeah, to answer your question, Jay, in regards to those that are selling one home a year, really after your 9 to 5, you have to work from 5 to 9 again on your business, and you have to
Right.
grow that. It's really just is what it is,
Yeah. Would you say that social media itself, and then also like AI, has
Mm,
a positive effect on
mm,
real estate and the home buying process, and things like open houses and stuff like that? Like, what's your
mm-hmm.
take on that part of the business at this point?
Dang. Yeah, fellas. I do think that AI makes our life easier, but I don't trust it. It's gonna be our downfall. This is a whole different topic. Jay, why you laughing, bro?
I
Jay, why
see,
you
cause
laughing, bro?
I see you
I
light
feel
up when
like
I say AI. It's
this,
like,
Yeah.
it's like, okay, Bob's finna come now.
insane.
It's like, it's finna get real
This
up
is
in here.
Yeah.
insane. I don't trust it like that. I don't trust it like that. I don't. But I do understand right now in its earlier stages where it's safe and we trust it more. Yes, it's gonna make our lives easier and things like that. I don't trust it for the long term. But yes, you do have to adapt and change with the markets. And right now, AI is where it's at. I don't use it a ton, really at all. But there's different moments where just use AI, right? And so it is gonna, I guess, be the future. I don't think it'll ever replace actual realtors, actual humans that you can actually, blood, human flesh with a pulse that can actually relate with you and guide you properly through the transaction. So I will never take it there. I'm not worried about realtors going obsolete, at least the right realtor going obsolete because of an AI. I don't think it's that serious, but yeah, it will make our lives easier. And I think it is important to somehow change with the times a little bit, but I'm not a huge fan of AI, fellas. I don't know
Yeah.
how do you guys feel about it personally? Not just in the real estate world, but any industry. It's taken over a lot of
It
industries.
It
is.
is.
It
It's taking over a
is.
lot of industries, and I feel like eventually, I mean, you can walk into your local Walmart and see there's this, the amount of cashiers that used to be in there. That's obsolete. I mean, it's just everything is self checkout, everything, So I mean, that's just a form of just machinery kind of taking over. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
definitely one of those rabbit hole subjects that we can get deep, brother. We can get deep.
Yeah.
you're right.
But I
You're right.
definitely think that it has its advantages. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? The chat GBTs, the different things like that can help out, useful tools that are in everyday life that help out. But it's going to create, for us as humans, like you said, human beings, flesh, it's going to create a crutch almost. You know what I mean? And
Mm,
it's gonna handicap
Exactly.
us. You know
I
what I
agree.
mean?
I
And
agree.
so I think
I agree.
I'm with it. I'm all for it to an extent. And I think
Yeah.
if it keeps growing, I think maybe not us, but our kids,
Woo!
it gonna be
Yeah,
in some
yeah, yeah.
trouble.
For
Gonna be in
sure.
some trouble.
And I try not to use it too much because just like what you said, I don't want to use it as a crutch. I think I've seen a stat. I have to look at where I saw it, but folks are cognitively declining because we
Mm-hmm.
barely want to exercise our brain because
Mm-hmm.
everything is let me ask Siri, let me ask AI.
Yeah.
Let me just run through AI. We're not even using our power, our brain power in the same level. Jay, you kind of look like you got something you want to say on that, brother. But I just feel like I don't want to
It's the
get too
same.
dependent. If I
Yeah.
It's the
get too,
same.
yeah,
It's the same for me because I work with kids, like I'm in the mental health field, and a lot of my kids be like, Mr. J, you need to just chat GPT, whatever. I'm like, why? We need to read. Like, why I'm going to chat GPT for? Now you just using that as a crutch. You ain't in school, like, oh, let me use chat GPT. No, you
yeah,
gotta read that book. You gotta study. You gotta use these things. You can't
yeah.
just say, oh, I'm gonna use this on the test. So I'm gonna use chat GPT to find this answer real quick. You can't do that. So
And
why
they
do
say
that
it's
at
so
home?
quick. They say it's so quick
Mhm.
Yeah.
without even trying to use any brain power.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
I just see the danger. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. I mean, you
Mhm.
could pull up the whole assignment on Chat GBT, like literally the whole lesson plan, the teacher,
Yeah.
everything the teacher is gonna teach this year. You can put it up on Chat GBT. You know what I mean? But
Two,
Wow.
so I,
it's a good thing, it's a bad thing because
Yeah.
two, also when you feel like you looked on Google or you went to the resources that you feel like you still lacking in something, it could be
Yeah.
starting a business, it could be starting a record company or whatever the case may be. It gonna give you the breakdown of
Yeah.
step by step, whatever
It does.
license you need. It gives you that, so it helps. But then
Yeah.
again, it's just people abusing it and using it as a crutch, like you said.
Yeah, I think it's a great research tool. I
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely don't think it needs to be used for you to, you know what I mean? How should I, raise my child? You know what I mean? Like you shouldn't be asking that on
yeah,
chat. You know
yeah,
what I mean? Like I just feel like
Yeah.
if you're gonna research, some business stuff or something like that, and I
Yeah.
mean that's what we spent, $1,000 on our phones for. You know what I mean? To be able to take it
Yeah.
and you Google and use research and
mhm,
different things like
Yeah.
that. But in regards to like the homing industry and everything like that, like
Yeah.
I, I I feel like with AI being introduced and different things like that, even like open houses when you get to just, have the screen walk through and show you what's going on and all that
Mhm.
different type of stuff.
mhm,
I think it, like you said, it takes that human element out of it. And I think that will
Mhm.
hurt the market because I think a lot of
Mhm.
people come to you guys, realtors, afraid, scared,
Mhm.
emotional, all those different things that machines and AIs aren't going to be able to navigate through. You know what I mean?
Un-
There may be a question that I
until
have for a human,
uh
a
yeah.
person that can understand and can relate to what I'm going through emotionally than a machine that's just going to punch numbers. You know what I
And
mean?
hits and people believe in AI so much they think we're gonna get there at some point, Lamar. We're gonna
See, that's
eventually
scary.
be able to have AI. See, it's
Yeah,
dangerous. This is
that's
what I'm
scary.
saying. Eventually, that AI will be able to connect with you on an emotional level. So we're just
mhm,
Mm-hmm.
gonna reiterate iRobot and things like that. Like
Mm-hmm.
these, I feel like they put these things in movies in front of our face years in advance for a reason. It's all and
yes.
I know we changing the conversation a little bit, but I
No,
don't
That's all
trust it
good.
that much, brother.
no,
Yeah,
This is the
yeah.
reality. But until AI gets that advanced to connect with us on an emotional level, yes, I definitely think I do not think it will be replacing realtors in all of those ways. Maybe make it easier, like you said, Lamar. We're going through open houses, virtual tours, fine, but stay in your place. I'm sorry,
yeah.
I have to say, stay relax,
Yeah.
relax, relax. And so that's just my my thought process there with AI.
So speaking of open houses, what are some of the things that you wow your buyers over with? What are
Hmm.
some of the things that you do different from other realtors? Because I didn't see some people bring bottles of water or
Yeah.
candy or they got music playing. What are some of the things that you do?
Yeah, definitely. So full transparency, I don't do a ton of open houses. Maybe on a few of my exact listings, or maybe if a realtor partner comes, they're out of town or an emergency and they really need me to hold an open house because they were going to do it, but life happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, depending on my schedule, I can be that realtor professional holding that open house for you for those couple hours. That's fine, but it's not something I do a ton. A lot of
Okay.
my time does go more towards social media content creation and everything that I'm expanding on in 2026. In regards to the realtors that do, Jay, play the music and offer the water and stuff, it's a good touch in
Yeah.
regards to setting the proper mood, depending on the music they playing,
Yeah.
and offering this and that. I personally, when I did it in the beginning, so maybe 7.5 years ago, a lot of folks didn't eat the cookies and stuff that we had
Mhm.
out, and it
Mm-hmm.
maybe it boils down to a trust thing. At the end of the day, I'm a
Yeah.
complete stranger, and you
Yeah.
probably don't want to put this in your mouth. I get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, maybe a little water or something. But yeah, I mean, I don't think things like that, really sells the home. I think like stuff
Mhm.
like staging, maybe depending on the property, will do more to help sell the home and things like that. Open houses are important though. Gives a chance to open up the floodgates, have the public walk through and give them ideas, and maybe they want to buy this particular home, and things like that. So it's definitely a place for it, and there's definitely realtors that do great off of it, um,
Yeah.
repeatedly for sure. Did you
Absolutely.
guys walk a lot of open houses before you bought your homes?
I did a few of them, and I noticed people, with the bottled water, or you'll have somebody have
Mm-hmm.
like little finger foods or
Yeah,
candy, but definitely the bottled water was at a lot of them, or they have little special flyers of themselves or something like that.
100%.
Absolutely.
And then
Yeah. Same thing. Went through the
yeah,
same process. Yeah.
maybe give you a flyer with the property schematics stapled with their business card on it. Just call me later. Yeah, easily. Definitely. No, it's definitely, I'm definitely not going to say it's irrelevant just because I don't do a million of them. You know, I'm not going to say that.
Yeah.
For sure, man. Got a couple rapid fire questions for you. We like,
Okay.
I mean, it's a segment that we are going to introduce called Quick Play. And in Quick Play, we just want to, you know what I mean, ask you a few questions, man. And, you know, you shoot us a little answer and a small, you know what
Small
I mean,
response.
elaboration. You know what I mean?
Okay.
We'll go from there, all right?
So should the
I
elaboration be like a sentence or just one sentence?
I'm gonna let you be the judge of that based on the question.
Okay.
So the first one, carpet in the bathroom, yes or no?
No. What are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? What is this? What is it? Listen. A lot of folks don't even like carpets that much because, you know, it could hold on to dirt. Maybe your kids have allergies, things like that. You want it to hold on to water too and get moldy and stuff? No.
Weirdest thing you've ever found in a vacancy that you went into?
Weirdest thing I've ever found. I don't think I have. Nope. It was a gun case. It wasn't the gun exposed, but it was a gun case. Maybe there was one in there on the counter, but you know, I didn't even try to open it to think. But that was interesting. As soon as I looked at it, I already eyeballed it. Let me see. I don't really have anything crazy there. I have heard stories when it comes to realtors walking in and there's folks in the shower or having sex in the room, you know, things like that. So for me, it's always good to, and I do this every time, a lot of my clients can vouch. Once I open the door, knock, realtor, even if I know it's vacant and things like that, I still announce myself and then walk into vacant homes.
Gotcha. What's the one home renovation that adds the least value?
I would say, I mean, we can go to the solar panels again. I just feel like folks really think that's the holy grail, and it's just not when you think about the upkeep and maybe the outstanding loan you still have on it. It could probably drop value depending on the buyers in the area that don't want to deal with that with your home. They rather go buy your competitor's home up the street that doesn't have it.
Yep. Yeah. One app on your phone that you can't run your business without.
Ooh, that's deep. Can I look real quick or not?
Go ahead, brother. Do your thing.
What app on my phone can I not run my business without? I guess I would have to say Instagram. Instagram is pretty big. I feel like that is a living, breathing resume. You know, so if folks reach out to me from that platform, for sure, they kind of already know a bit of my vibe, a bit. You know.
Gotcha.
Garage or no garage?
Definitely a garage. It's a lot of benefits there when it comes to extra privacy, putting your vehicles in there, protecting it from the clients, protecting it from theft and stuff, even if you don't have a lot of that in your area. Garages definitely hold their value for sure.
Yeah. Design trend from 5 years ago that needs to die immediately.
Die immediately? Design trend.
Is it those popcorn ceiling? No, that's a little older. That's way back.
No, it is old. It's definitely old.
2-inch baseboard. We need to get 4-inch baseboard up in the house.
I feel you. But I feel like, you see, I guess because kind of going back to me being, I'm a bit basic, you know, like those cosmetic things is not a huge deal. I'm going to run it dead and then replace it with more money.
I got something for you. For you. You said, was it home or concrete home?
I was going
definitely concrete. Definitely concrete. It's better for insulation. You don't have to worry as much about, you know, termites and things like that. It's a sturdier construction. We know Florida has the periodic hurricanes. You're going to be much more comfortable in a concrete home block construction versus wood frame any day.
Yeah. Awesome, man. Awesome. That concludes that segment, man. You did a good job on that one, man. I tried to trip you up with the carpet one. I led with that one.
Really?
I tried to trip you up with that one, man.
You want to know something? And it's funny you speak of that, bro. I just have a habit of, you know, getting on Zillow every week and just looking at homes. Like, I use it to like get different ideas or also think about if I want to, you know, invest in a property or whatever. But what about carpet in the kitchen? Like, have you ever
I ain't a
seen
fan of
that
none of
carpet
that.
in the kitchen? Like,
Yeah,
carpet in the kitchen, and then it connects to the living room. Like, have you
yeah,
ever seen that?
I've never seen that, brother.
Oh my
I've never
god!
seen
yeah. I
that. That
ain't.
is absolutely
When I find it, I'm
insane.
gonna forward it to you, bro. When I find that home, I'm gonna forward. I seen the carpet in the kitchen, and of course it was like an older home, but I'm like,
Yeah, I was
that's
about to ask you,
nasty
what is
work.
the year built
That's
on those homes?
yeah, I'm pretty sure it had to be like 1970, 1960.
Oh yeah, anything
It's
with
That's
a
hard
one
for
nasty
me to
nine.
work,
even
bro.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
hard for me to
Carpet
even
in the
think
kitchen,
and
bro.
it's hard for me to even think they were doing that back then. How
Hmm.
could
Like,
you guys in the 1970s even still justify it? I have to see it. Hey, so off the grid, definitely send me that, Jay.
watch this. See.
But like, I gotta
Listen,
see that in where I gotta see that in motion.
that's insane.
Definitely,
Yeah,
man.
yeah, definitely for
That's
sure.
So
crazy.
I got another segment for you. I want to throw out there at you, man. And again, these are new segments we're rolling out. Just especially for you. You know what
Yes,
I
sir.
mean? Being in the real estate world and knowing where a lot of hidden gems are. I want to call this segment the Power Pop Out. And with
Okay.
the Power Pop Out, I want to know. Give me one safe haven for yourself. One place in the entire Florida. I'm gonna just use. I'm gonna say the world. One place
Mm.
that you would go to, kick back, relax. That's your place
Mm.
that you feel comfortable in. That's just real estate heaven.
I would say I am from New York, and I did visit back home last year. I guess I could call it real estate heaven. I really like how a lot of the homes in New York are built with brick
Mm,
in the exterior. You know, block and concrete is all that's fine. But when it's legit bricks, you know, all the way up, I really like that. That's very appealing to me. But yeah, I mean, even with the homes we build here in Florida, it's all beautiful for the right areas. I would say that personally, I'm gravitating more to the outer skirts, more rural areas. You know, maybe I've been in the Tampa area a little bit too long in the inner cities. Maybe I'm appreciating being on the outer skirts. I could drive into the city whenever I'm ready. I don't want to
gotcha.
wake up here. So I think that's kind of where I'm at personally. So the right community and stuff on the outer skirts of the city, that can be considered real estate heaven for me at this point. You know, just stuff like that. How about you?
Awesome. Man, Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay.
I just love
Okay.
Atlanta, bro. And I'm a Florida boy. You know what I mean? Fort Myers
No,
to
no,
the
no,
death
no,
of me. But
no. What you
I,
want to say is you hate Florida, you hate Floridians. You
I can't never
despise
do that, man.
you despise all of us here. You want ATL.
No,
No, I'm
man, no,
joking.
no,
That
no.
what you want? You want
Just,
ATL?
just Miami Hurricanes. That's it.
Okay,
That's
I
it.
feel you. I
That's
feel
it.
you.
That's it. Everybody
Okay,
else is
okay,
good in my book. Just the
okay.
Hurricanes, man. Man, oh man. So look, man, we can get into another segment, man. We like to call this segment the press play segment. And in the press
Mm,
play segment, we like to shed light on a song and or artist that is hot right
mm,
now or is pressure right now.
okay.
So in your daily travels and getting in that mode to go and make that money and sell those houses, who are you
Yes,
pressing
sir.
play on?
Ooh, that's deep. I would say so I do like instrumentals. I don't listen to a lot of songs. I do like instrumentals. If you're asking about songs, though, I like Lil Uzi Vert. I like
Okay,
some of his songs. He
okay,
he has a certain little vibe to him. Not all of his songs. I'm gonna be honest. I don't have a favorite artist that I like everything they put out. You
gotcha,
know, I'll be honest. Certain songs from all of my favorite artists, certain ones just missed the cut for me, and it's not on my
gotcha.
playlist. So I do like Uzi. Saw Baby. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Saw Baby. I
Sa-
like
Mm,
Saw
Sada
Baby.
or Sa?
Sa
Oh,
SSAHBABI
okay.
Saw Baby. I do like his vibe as well. Playboy Cardi has a similar vibe. It's more that rock star, but not really, but like good
Okay.
vibes type of vibes, 808 beats and things like that. But when I'm not in the mood for like songs, I do like instrumentals. So that way I could think, you know,
yeah,
think about other stuff. Because when songs playing, obviously you're thinking about their lyrics. So
right,
yeah.
Mhm.
So
right. Is the instrumental in your travels when you're in dealing with, you know what I mean, going and approaching a big sale? Like, is that
uh-huh.
something that you definitely would pop on and say, all right, let me get these instrumentals, let me get my mind right, and let me go out here and let me
Hmm.
sell this $1 million home?
Probably not before a appointment, like to meet a seller of $1 million home. Probably at that point, I want complete silence, and I'm in my head. I'm thinking about everything. If it's certain showings, I'm out with clients where we have
Gotcha.
four homes listed that we're going to knock out in a 1.5 hour span. In between driving to those, I'm probably playing instrumentals or on phone calls with a different client for a different transaction. So yeah, it really just depends. But yeah, I like instrumentals a lot for sure. The
Absolutely,
right,
man. Absolutely.
yeah.
So our next segment we want to get into with you, man, is called our power play segment. And in our power play segment, we like to highlight an individual and or individuals that are making power plays. And it can be sports, it can be music, it can be entrepreneurship, and we love, love, love black-owned businesses. And
Mm,
today we want to acknowledge you, my brother, Agent J. Man,
appreciate
this
it.
guy is doing his thing, man. You can follow his social media. You know what I mean?
Appreciate it.
Definitely go take a look, man. He is in the Ruskin area, the Tampa area, Dade City. I mean, he's got endless areas. You just heard him. He like to get on the outskirts, the inskirts, everywhere, man. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? You can find my guy. He's gonna make it happen for you. Very knowledgeable, very pleasant. You know what I mean?
Thank you.
He ain't got to put a blaze on for you to believe in him because he's gonna make it happen for you without it. You know what I mean?
Definitely gonna make it
So
happen.
please, please,
100%.
please, if you are looking to embark on the home ownership journey, holla at my boy Agent J, and we will have his information on this episode.
Let's do
You
it.
know
I
what I mean?
appreciate you, fellas, man.
Absolutely,
Thank
man.
you.
And do you have anybody that you would like to recommend for that power play of the day?
I would do Kerry Yasin. He
Okay.
is a mortgage lender. I've been working with him for many years. We've actually traveled to Michigan together on a business trip. And I don't travel with many folks. You have to really trust someone on that level, right?
Mm-hmm.
Kerry's a great guy. He also has the heart of a teacher. So pretty much everything I'm saying, but on the lending world. So
Mm-hmm.
as you guys know, the lenders are going to be the ones looking at credit, taking a loan application, going through your financial picture with a fine tooth comb, and he educates you along the way. I think having the heart of a teacher is important in this business. It's a big transaction we're guiding folks through. And even if those clients bought property in the past, it's not something that they do every day. Maybe it is their fifth home, but the last home they bought was 7 years ago. They still
Mm-hmm.
need that refresher in education. So I would say, yeah, choosing someone with the heart of a teacher is important. So I would say Carrie Essen.
Absolutely, man.
Shout
Absolutely.
out to Kerry.
Shout out to Kerry and shout out to you, Agent J, my boy.
Appreciate you. Appreciate
So
you.
our next segment we want to get into is called our empowerment segment. And in our empowerment segment, we like to create a safe space where we can uplift, motivate, inspire, and empower. So could you leave our audience with some empowering words from Agent J?
100%. I would say let's make the boring things more normalized in regards to talking about things that matter a bit more, especially when it comes to our family, building wealth and legacy. I know it's not as sexy to talk about, but let's make personal finance more cool. Let's make financial literacy more cool. Let's pour into things that's gonna really produce a return on investment. I don't care what Kim Kardashian had for breakfast. And I don't care about, like other
Yeah,
stuff that, buying certain liabilities and we like it because like Hellcats and stuff. I've seen too much of these decisions plummet a lot of my clients' financial picture. And then they have the urge for real estate. And by the time they come to me, a lot of stuff is already wrecked, we'll say. And they wish that they met me 2 years sooner, a year sooner, 3 months sooner. We have to be careful. And I think it's important that we normalize personal finance because we understand they're not teaching us that in schooling, from K to 12 easy. I think they need to put more personal finance, financial literacy classes. This is a different conversation, but I do think,
no,
and I don't think you have to go to college for it.
yeah,
Just regular K through 12, somewhere
Mm-hmm.
in there, put more financial credit,
absolutely,
knowledgeable. We got to update the curriculum because folks are learning the hard way. I was one of them in the
yeah,
real world when they graduate and they make decisions and we bump our heads at a young age in the real world. Then we learn, okay, I probably shouldn't do this or do that. You could have
yeah,
saved us from half of those mistakes had you have fit in certain classes and curriculum. So that's my thoughts. Since the school systems won't do it, most likely, let's make it cool in our culture.
Yeah.
absolutely. In our communities, definitely make it cool. Definitely, you know what I mean? Got to start somewhere. And why not
Yeah,
start together, you know? I mean, at
100%.
the end of the day. So, man, listen, also, man, I want to ask you about your mental health. We are big on mental health here at Power Play Podcast, brother. And we ask all of our guests, we grade it in stages of three. Three being I'm good, I'm lovely, everything's great. Two being
Mhm.
I'm all right, I could be better. And one being is concerning. What would you grade
That's
yourself?
deep. That's deep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of men are asked about their mental health, you guys. I wasn't
Nah.
expecting.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah.
deep.
we big on that,
That's
brother. We
that's
gotta
deep.
and it goes back to introducing our last segment, that safe space. You gotta
Yeah,
create that so us as men are able to talk. You know what I mean? Just
that's
human
deep.
beings in general. But yeah, for sure.
That's deep. I would say three. I would say three is my mental
Good
health.
man.
I would
Love to hear
say
it.
the moment that it's not a three though, I'm gonna put in the work to get it back up to a three.
Yeah,
So I would say um not taking substances and doing these other things when you're at a low point, I don't think that's going to really help you. I do believe in health and fitness and diet and different things like that, to because it's all going to go back up to our mental.
Yeah.
And so I do believe in gym and cardio and making time for certain things, because that's all going to help the mental state. So life
Yeah.
will never be perfect, but the moment it drops from that three, okay, I'm analyzing what's wrong, what's off, and I'm making changes. I'm putting in the work. I believe in accountability and
Yeah.
controlling the controllables. So if it's in my controllable area, I'm gonna make some adjustments and then hopefully get it back to a three. So that's why I'm at a three right now. But life isn't perfect for anybody.
Yeah.
absolutely, man. Listen, brother, we thank you. We thank you for coming on, man. And with this beautiful
100%.
Appreciate you,
conversation
brother.
that we had, man, very informative. I hope our
Yes,
audience
sir.
is filled with knowledge now, man, and
Yes.
understanding. You know what I mean? At least to start, and because that's where you got to start somewhere, man. And you know what I
Yeah.
mean. So
Definitely got to
it's
start
very
somewhere.
important. Home ownership is a very, very, very great thing. Please don't shy away from it. Any
And I
other
really like how
questions?
this is a panel full of all homeowners as well. Like, we
Absolutely.
aren't
Yeah.
just talking, we've
Yeah.
experienced it. We
Yes.
purchased real estate
Yes.
X amount of years ago. We know how much equity we have. We paid
Yes.
Yeah.
down mortgages. We
Yes.
we we have the values increasing over time. We
Yeah.
have options and moves, and it's extra power when your name is on a deed and not leases. We've also all
Yeah.
rented, and so
Yes.
you don't have to come out the gate out of high school owning. But
Yeah.
I don't think renting has to be a forever thing, and I think we've all proven that. So good
Absolutely,
job,
man.
fellas. Good job.
Extra
Good
power
job.
with power
Appreciate
play.
you
And
too,
listen, we
brother.
we definitely
Yeah,
got to
man.
have you back for a part two, man, because there's a lot that
Yeah,
we didn't
Yeah.
dive into that we definitely want to
yeah.
dive into, man. So we can even make it a quarterly thing, man. You come in and
Let's
tap
do it.
in with us, man,
Hey,
and you know
yeah,
what I mean, educate
definitely
the
that.
audience, man. Definitely,
I'm
man,
out.
for sure, for
I'm
sure.
open.
But
Appreciate you
listen,
guys.
man, this has
For
been
sure,
the Power
brother.
Play Podcast. I'm your boy, Mighty Boy the Goat. I got my brother with me as always, Drop Top J Lock, and we just tapped in with my boy,
Yes.
Agent J.
Agent
Agent
J. Appreciate you
Love,
guys.
man.
Thank you.
Yes, sir, man.
love.
You'll thank y'all for tuning in to the Power Play Podcast on the Power Play channel. But please, 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 before y'all proceed, don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe,
and make that bell ding, ring that bell.